Welcome to another Business Finance short problem solving lecture. We will now have a look at study problem 13-12 in page 433 from the 8th edition of our textbook. Here is a view of the problem. Let's go ahead and highlight some key facts provided in the problem. So the CFO of our company proposed the board of directors that the company pay a non-cash dividend in terms of the shares of stock. Actually, for each share of common stock owned currently by a shareholder, those people will receive 0.025 new shares. For example, then if you already are a shareholder with 1,000 shares of stock, then an additional 25 shares of common stock will be received by that shareholder. So in part A, if our company had total net income of $10 million during the past year and currently has 20 million shares outstanding before the stock dividend, what are the firm's earnings per share? So let's quickly do this calculation here. So earnings per share is equal to obviously net income divided by number of shares. Now let me remind that this is before the stock dividends. Okay, so that would be equal to, we are told we have $20 million in net, net income was $10 million. My apologies again. So net income was $10 million, and then the number of shares outstanding were 20 million. So as a result, the earnings per share was 50 cents. Okay, so for part B now, so we are done with part A. After the stock dividend, what is the firm's earnings per share? So it's pretty standard again. So earnings per share, you can call it post if you want, after, would be net income over the new number of shares. So net income apparently didn't change, huh? We still made $10 million of net income. Now, number of previous shares were 20 million shares, and then we added some more, huh? So the fraction added was this much, so to the 20 million existing shares. So therefore this number will be 10 million over, so $10 million over I believe 20.5 million shares, and now the earnings per share is down to 0.4878, I believe, 0.4878, 0.4878. So my apologies again here. Okay, so you can see that our earnings per share has declined as a result of this new dilution, so of dividends, new dividends outstanding. And finally, in part C, we are to figure that so you are currently owning 1,000 shares before the stock dividend, and then how many dollars earnings did the firm earn on your $1,000 share, on your 1,000 share of share outstanding. And once you calculate that, after the stock dividend is paid, how many dollars of earnings did the company earn on your larger shareholdings? And finally, what effect would you expect from the payment of the stock dividend on your total investment in the firm? Would it make any difference? Okay, so let me open a new page for this part of the problem. So part C, oops, my apologies again. So for part C, so my fraction of earnings, basically earnings before the stock dividend, before the stock dividend is equal to, well, my share is 1,000 out of the 20 million outstanding shares, and I know the profit, overall profit was $10 million. So therefore my share, my fraction of the earnings is, as an investor, $500. This is before the stock dividend. Now we can calculate a similar fraction of earnings after the stock dividend, and let's see if there is any difference, if any at all. So my new shares has increased by 25 shares. So however, there is now more shares outstanding overall as well, and the company still makes the same profitability amount of $10 million. And guess what? My fraction of earnings after the stock dividend did not change at all. In fact, this is not surprising. Observe that the initial $500 is merely what? So once you look at it, it looks like, so this figure here is the basically the earnings per share, and all I did was to multiply earnings per share by the number of shares that I currently hold. So because I used to hold 1,000 shares and the earnings per share previously was 50 cents on the dollar, and as a result this would give us the 500. And similarly for the other case, again this is my earnings per share, and I'm currently holding more stocks, and guess what? So that would be giving us the same answer as well. So this is just to confirm that what we did here is correct, but that's kind of very eye-opening in one sense. So those two figures being the same, what is the conclusion? So what is the lesson? Well, obviously this example illustrates that the illusion of gain from a stock dividend is truly an illusion. So stock dividend gain is an illusion. So that's kind of like the lesson that we can learn from solving this example. And that solves our problem. So that's the end of our solution, and hope you enjoyed the video.